Hey Cancer, I just sat down with my cards and honestly what came through for you is something I wasn't expecting at all. This reading is about confessions and revelations that are going to completely shift your understanding of a situation. You thought you knew? Let me walk you through what the cards showed me, because this is genuinely fascinating. So I pulled the first card and it's the Nine of Cups. Now usually this card shows up when someone is getting their wishes fulfilled, right? But the energy here is different. Someone in your life has been sitting on their feelings, holding back something they really want to tell you. This person has been watching you, thinking about you, and they've reached this point where they can't keep it inside anymore. The confession that's coming isn't just some casual thing. This is someone who has been genuinely contemplating how their life could be different if they just told you the truth. What's interesting is the Nine of Cups often represents emotional satisfaction. But here it's showing me that this person believes confessing to you is the key to their happiness. They've been playing out scenarios in their head, imagining what your reaction might be. The cups are overflowing in this card, which tells me their feelings have reached a breaking point. They literally cannot contain this anymore. Now this could be about romantic feelings, but it could also be about something they've been hiding that affects you deeply. The energy feels like relief is coming, like finally letting out a breath they've been holding for way too long. What you need to understand is that when this confession comes, it's going to be completely genuine. This isn't manipulation or game. This is raw honesty from someone who has been carrying this weight. The second card I pulled is the Five of Swords, and okay, this adds a really interesting layer. Someone in your periphery has been operating with less than honorable intentions. The Five of Swords talks about conflict, about winning at all costs, sometimes through deception. What I'm seeing here is that there's been some kind of manipulation or mind games happening around you. Maybe you've sensed it, maybe you haven't, but the truth is about to come out about who's been stirring the pot. This card often shows up when someone has been talking behind your back, spreading rumors, or trying to create division. The confession you're going to receive might actually expose this person. Sometimes when one truth comes out, it creates a domino effect and other truths start surfacing too. What's really important here is that the Five of Swords is telling you not everyone who smiles at you has your best interests at heart. The person confessing to you might reveal information about someone else who's been playing both sides. I'm seeing a scenario where loyalties are going to be tested and you're going to find out who's really in your corner. This isn't meant to make you paranoid, but rather to prepare you. When someone finally speaks up about what they've witnessed or experienced, you're going to see certain relationships in a completely different light. The sword energy is sharp and cutting, which means this revelation might hurt initially, but it's ultimately protecting you from further harm. Now, the third card is the Nine of Pentacles, and this is where things get really interesting. This card is all about independence, self-sufficiency, and reaping what you've sown. What I'm getting is that you've been building something for yourself. Maybe it's your confidence, maybe it's your life circumstances, but you've been doing the work. The confession that's coming is partly triggered by how far you've come. Someone is noticing your growth, and it's making them realize they need to speak up before they lose their chance. The Nine of Pentacles often appears when someone has created a beautiful life for themselves, and others are taking notice. There's an element here of someone confessing because they see your value and they don't want to miss out. But here's what's really powerful about this card in your reading. It's reminding you that no matter what gets revealed, no matter what confession comes your way, you're standing on solid ground. You've built something real for yourself, and nobody's words or revelations can take that away from you. This card is your foundation. It's saying you're in a position of strength when this confession happens. You're not desperate, you're not needy, you're actually in a really good place. And sometimes that's exactly when the universe sends you information you need to hear, because you're finally strong enough to handle it properly. The garden in the Nine of Pentacles represents cultivation and patience. And you've been patient. You've been tending to your own growth. Now you're about to receive clarity that you've been waiting for. The fourth card is the King of Cups, and this tells me so much about either who is confessing, or what the confession is about. The King of Cups is emotionally mature, balanced, and deeply intuitive. If this represents the person who's going to confess, they're someone who doesn't usually wear their heart on their sleeve. They're controlled, they're measured, they think before they speak, which makes their confession even more significant because they don't do this lightly. This is someone who has really processed their feelings and is coming to you from a place of emotional clarity. They're not going to be dramatic or over the top about it. They're going to be honest and direct. The King of Cups suggests that this person has been observing the emotional currents around them, and they've decided it's time to bring truth to the surface. Now, if this card represents the nature of the confession itself, it's telling me this is about deep feelings, real emotions, not surface-level stuff. Someone has been holding on to something that comes from a very genuine place in their heart. The king sitting on his throne above turbulent waters shows me that even though emotions are running high beneath the surface, this person is going to deliver their message with composure. They respect you too much to make a mess of it. What's also significant about the King of Cups is that this card often represents emotional truth and integrity. Whatever is being confessed is something this person genuinely believes you have a right to know. They're not doing this to hurt you or to create chaos. They're doing it because keeping this secret has started to feel dishonest, and they value authenticity. The fifth card is the Seven of Wands, and wow, this is telling me that the confession you receive is going to require you to stand your ground. The Seven of Wands is about defending your position, about not backing down even when you're being challenged. What this suggests is that after this confession comes out, you might face some pressure. Maybe from the person confessing who wants a certain response, or maybe from others who don't want this truth to be known. You're going to need to maintain your boundaries. The figure in the Seven of Wands is fighting from higher ground, which means you have the advantage even if it doesn't feel like it immediately. This confession might challenge your current perception of reality, and you're going to need to stay firm in what you know to be true. Don't let anyone gaslight you or make you doubt what you're being told or what you already sense deep down. The Seven Wands representing 7 different challenges or pressures coming at you all at once. But here's the thing, you can handle all of it. This card wouldn't show up if you weren't capable of managing whatever comes your way. What I'm also seeing with the Seven of Wands is that speaking your own truth in response is going to be necessary. You're not just going to receive a confession and stay silent. You're going to have your own things to say, and you shouldn't hold back. This is a time for honest communication, even if it's uncomfortable. The person confessing is being brave by speaking up, and you're going to need to match that bravery with your own honesty. Card number 6 is the Six of Pentacles, and this brings in an energy of balance and fairness. The Six of Pentacles is about giving and receiving, about karmic balance, about making sure exchanges are equitable. In the context of your reading, this confession that's coming is part of a karmic Someone has been holding information or feelings that belong to you in a sense. You have a right to know what they know or how they feel. And by confessing, they're giving you what's rightfully yours, which is the truth. This card also suggests that how you respond to this confession is going to set the tone for future interactions. If you respond with grace and wisdom, that energy comes back to you. If you respond with bitterness or cruelty, well, that comes back too. The Six of Pentacles is reminding you that you have power in this situation. The person confessing might feel like they're in the vulnerable position, but actually, you hold the cards in terms of how you receive their truth. What you do with the information matters. This card is also telling me that this confession might involve someone offering you something, whether it's an apology, an explanation, or even an opportunity. They're extending something to you and you get to decide whether to accept it. The scales in the Six of Pentacles are perfectly balanced, suggesting that whatever happens is going to ultimately create more equilibrium in your life. Even if the initial revelation is shocking. Asterisk, the 7th card is the Seven of Cups, and oh my goodness, this is so relevant. The Seven of Cups is the card of illusions, fantasies, confusion, and multiple options. What this is telling me is that you've probably been dealing with a lot of uncertainty lately. Maybe you've had multiple versions of the truth in your head, trying to figure out what's real. The confession that's coming is going to cut through the fog. You've been looking at 7 different cups, 7 different possibilities, trying to figure out which one is real. And someone is about to point directly at the truth and say that one, that's the real one. This card suggests you might have been suspecting something but couldn't quite pin it down. Your intuition has been showing you flashes of truth, but you've been second-guessing yourself. Well, confirmation is coming. The Seven of Cups also warns about being careful with your expectations after the confession. Don't immediately build castles in the air based on what you hear. Stay grounded, take the information in, process it, and make decisions from a clear headspace rather than getting swept up in the emotion of the revelation. Some of those cups in the card contain illusions and false promises. Just because someone confesses something doesn't mean everything they say is accurate or that their perception is complete. Use your own discernment. What I'm really sensing with this card is that the confession will answer some questions but might raise new ones. You're going to need to sit with everything and let clarity emerge naturally, rather than forcing immediate understanding. The 8th card is the Five of Pentacles, and this one, initially it might seem concerning, but hear me out. The Five of Pentacles often appears when someone has been feeling left out in the cold, excluded, or like they're on the outside looking in. In the context of your reading, this tells me that the person confessing has been feeling isolated by keeping this secret. They've been walking past the warm light of connection and honesty, stuck in the cold of their own silence. Their confession is partly about wanting to come in from the cold, wanting to reconnect, wanting to be included again. This card can also indicate that you might have been feeling somewhat alone or unsupported lately. And this confession is actually going to help you understand why. Maybe someone's behavior has been confusing you, and their confession will reveal that they've been dealing with their own struggles that had nothing to do with you. The Five of Pentacles is interesting because it shows 2 figures together in hardship. This suggests that whatever gets revealed, there's an opportunity for shared understanding and mutual support. You don't have to go through the aftermath of this confession alone. The church window in the background of this card represents available help and spiritual support. Whatever you learn, whatever gets revealed, you have resources and support available to you. Reach out to trusted friends. Maybe do some journaling or meditation to process everything. Don't isolate yourself with this information. Card number 9 is the Six of Pentacles. Wait, I need to check my deck. Oh, actually, it's the King of Pentacles. This is such a solid, grounding energy to have in your reading. The King of Pentacles represents stability, security, and practical wisdom. This card is telling me that after all the emotional revelations and confessions, you need to come back to what's practical and real. The King of Pentacles doesn't get swept up in drama. He looks at facts. He looks at actions, not just words. And he makes decisions based on what actually serves his long-term well-being. This is the energy you need to embody as you process this confession. Ask yourself practical questions. How does this information change things tangibly? What actions need to be taken based on what you now know? Don't just swim in the emotional waters. Put your feet on solid ground. This king also often represents someone in your life who can offer wise counsel. After the confession happens, consider talking to someone you trust who has more life experience. Someone who can help you see things objectively. The King of Pentacles has built an empire through patience and smart choices. He's reminding you that one confession, one revelation, doesn't have to topple everything you've built. You have the wisdom and strength to integrate this information and move forward in a way that honors your goals and values. What's also significant is that this king holds a pentacle in his hand, representing his resources. You have resources too, emotional, mental, practical. Use them wisely as you navigate whatever comes next. The final card, number 10, is the King of Pentacles. Wait, I need to recount. Let me check the numbers properly. The 10th card based on your numbers is the 10 of Swords. Okay, so this is intense but important. The 10 of Swords often represents an ending, a completion, sometimes even a betrayal, or a painful truth. But here's what people miss about this card. Yes, it's the most swords in your back. Yes, it looks devastating. But it also means it's over. You can't get stabbed 11 times with 10 swords. This is the end of deception, the end of not knowing, the end of confusion. The confession you receive is going to finalize something. It's going to end a chapter. And even though endings can be painful, this one is necessary. The 10 of Swords is clearing the deck so something new can begin. What you're going to discover might feel like a betrayal of trust, or it might simply be the full truth of a situation that's been incomplete. Either way, this card is saying that you're going to have all the information you need to make a clean break from whatever or whoever needs to be released. The sky in the 10 of Swords is starting to lighten, even as the figure lies there. This represents hope on the horizon. Yes, you might need to grieve what you thought was true. Yes, you might need time to process. But you will get up from this, and you will be wiser and stronger for it. The 10 of Swords is actually a card of liberation. Once you know the full truth, once everything is out in the open, you're free. Free to make authentic choices. Free to move forward with clarity. Free from the burden of sensing something is off but not knowing what. So Cancer, let me bring all of this together for you. You have 10 powerful cards here telling a complete story. Someone is ready to confess something significant to you. This confession has been building for a while because this person has reached a point where keeping quiet is no longer an option. What they tell you is going to be emotionally genuine, and it's going to cut through a lot of confusion you've been experiencing. The revelation might expose some less than honorable behavior from someone else in your circle. You're going to need to maintain your boundaries and stand firm in your truth as you process this information. The good news is that you're in a strong position. You've been building yourself up and you can handle whatever comes your way. This confession is part of a karmic rebalancing, giving you information that you have a right to know. While the truth might be painful and might represent an ending of some kind, it's ultimately liberating. You're going to have the clarity you need to make authentic decisions about your relationships and your path forward. What I want you to remember is that confessions reveal character. Someone willing to tell you a difficult truth shows more integrity than someone who keeps you in the dark to protect themselves. However you respond, lead with your values. Be honest but kind. Be firm but fair. And know that whatever changes as a result of this confession is change that needed to happen. The universe is protecting you by bringing truth to light. You've got this, Cancer. Trust yourself. Trust the process. And know that on the other side of this revelation is a clearer, more authentic version of your life.